Hello and welcome to the show. We're live on LFC TV and across social media, and we can tell you Liverpool will start the new season at Stamford Bridge with Chelsea as their opening day opponents. That game will be a 4:30 kickoff. Neil Mellor and Opta's Michael Reid are with us in the main studio here. We've also got a couple of COP season ticket holders that we'll hear from very soon as well. All the season fixtures are running across the bottom of your screen as we speak right now. Neil, welcome. I know it was always going to be that we had to play all the teams twice, but we were eagerly anticipating who the first game would be because it wasn't going to be at Anfield. What's your reaction to Chelsea on the road?
Yeah, we knew it would be away to start with because of the redevelopment, of course, of Anfield Road. It's a tough start. You know, you look at Chelsea as a rival for being in the top 4 or 5 places like ourselves. I think when I look at Chelsea, and our away form wasn't great, was it, last season? If we can beat Chelsea away first game of the season, I think it gives everyone a huge lift, huge bit of momentum. Chelsea's a football club with a new manager this season, with Pochettino. I think it'll be an uncertain time, August. There's a lot of players perhaps wanting to leave the football club, the window being open. So I'm hoping that it may not be a bad time to play them. But that is a tough start, no doubt about that.
Tough start and good start are a phrase we're going to hear lots of probably in the next half hour or so. How have Liverpool's record on the opening day of the season been historically, Michael, over the past couple of seasons?
Against Chelsea, not great, but in the past couple of seasons, pretty good. Last time Liverpool actually played Chelsea on the opening day was 2003. But you can see here on the screen is Liverpool's actual record against Chelsea. You can see Liverpool do edge it in the Premier League, 23 wins to 21 defeats. Obviously, if you flipped it to Stamford Bridge, it'd be the record just in Chelsea's favour. But yeah, Liverpool slightly edged the record, and we hope that carries on the opening day.
Toughest opponents as well in terms of what we've faced. I think everybody will be able to guess that it's Man City because they're everyone's toughest opponents.
Of course, they would be on everyone's list here, but Chelsea are in Liverpool's top 6 toughest opponents in terms of their points per game average under Jurgen Klopp. You can see there Chelsea ranking 4th. Swansea might surprise a few here. Luckily, they're not in the Premier League, so Klopp doesn't have to worry about them. Fulham, another name that might surprise a few. They are in the Premier League now, and Klopp generally, you know, only 3 wins in 6, so 50% win rate, which is quite low there. But the teams would expect there Man City, Man United, and Chelsea. But we hope that Chelsea record improves on the opening day. Yeah,
5 losses in the 16 games. Let's take a look right the way through then the 38 games as they happen. Of course, they will all be subject to change with TV and everything else. But in terms of how it looks at the start, we had a really tough start last year. How does that compare?
Yeah, I thought last season we struggled away, and I thought we had a tough start away last season. Obviously, Fulham, we didn't know how good they would be. It was a tough away game. Then when you play United, Arsenal and Everton away, it made us playing catch-up. So I think I'm looking at those away games. That's what strikes me straight away. Chelsea away, Newcastle away, Wolves away, Tottenham away, Brighton away. 4 of those first 5 away, we have to improve on how we started last season away from home. And if we can, then I think we're in for a different season. If it's similar to the way we started last season, I think it could be frustrating again. But yeah, I mean, those away games are very, very tough to start with. But the home games look certainly winnable.
And certainly in terms of Newcastle as well, just briefly, that is the fixture that everybody's looking at now because you don't really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, decent side. We saw that last season. Obviously, a rival for us again this season. See the next batch of fixtures, you know, 11 to 20. This is when we've got European football as well. Don't forget Europa League to bear in mind. Then you're looking at the game away at City. You know, international date just before that. A couple of promoted teams in there: Luton, Sheffield United, Arsenal back to back. You know, in December, that'll be an interesting time, won't it?
Luton Town away is one everybody's looking at as well, aren't they? What kind of ground will it look like by then? And these are the fixtures, 21 down to 30, as to how they look at the turn of the new year as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at big games sandwiched together. Chelsea, Arsenal, 2 big games, home and away. Don't forget the African Cup of Nations is being played as well this year, so I wonder how that will affect the team, the squad. Salah obviously would be one of those players away. City at home as well, March time, then at Everton. So when you've got big games like that, you put so much energy into one of the games, you've got to go again for that next one.
Yeah, big week that, and it's City followed up by Everton at Goodison Park, and then into the conclusion of the season as well, newly promoted Sheffield United at Anfield, and then it all culminates again. It always seems like Wolves, doesn't it, home to finish off the season.
Yeah, Wolves at home again. Villa away. I mean, I think Villa will be chasing European places again this season. Spurs at home. I've enjoyed that one at Anfield last few seasons. So, yeah, hopefully we're in a position for those closing games where we can be challenging.
Let's take a look at Jurgen Klopp's record, certainly where the opening day of the season goes. New kit, big pressure, everything else. How has it looked historically over the years for Jurgen?
The thing that stands out to me is there's lots of goals in these games. So these are the opening day games that Liverpool have actually had under Jurgen Klopp in the Premier League. At least 3 goals in every game. Liverpool have scored at least 3 goals in all, but the one last season against Fulham. So obviously there's hope to improve on that. Some good results there against promoted teams. You look at the Norwich, Leeds and Norwich again. So yeah, we hope that the wins are added to there.
Yeah, and in terms of overall the manager's records on opening days of the season, how do they look, Michael?
Yeah, again, Klopp ranks really favourably. So if we look at managers who've had at least 5 opening day games in the Premier League, you can see here Klopp actually ranks the 4th best for points per game all time. We saw results there, 5 wins and 2 draws. Unsurprisingly, Pep Guardiola top of most of these tables, but it's nice to see 2 other former Reds managers in here, the late Gerard Houllier and Roy Evans, including one of their games in joint charge there as well. So nice to see some Liverpool representation. Look out for Pochettino, though, being at Chelsea, of course, now with Liverpool playing them on the opening day.
John and Dave are here as well, Cop season ticket holders, eagerly anticipating the start of a new season. It feels like the only ones just finished already. We're looking forward to these fixtures, aren't we?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, can't wait for it to get back starting. Big start, Chelsea away. Looking forward to it. Both games last season were awful, to be honest, weren't they?
Yeah.
Especially us and Chelsea expect good games, so they were disappointing. Hopefully can get a big performance in. Reminds me of the Arsenal game we just seen on there as well, where we got off to a good start. Looking at it, it's a tough start away from home, but I'd like to see us get 18 out of 18 points, to be honest. Why not? Let's go for it, innit? And yeah, Newcastle, we got a good result there last season. Beat them twice. Can't see why we can't do that again. Wolves, one of the worst ones last season. That was a tough one to take, bad performance. So yeah, hopefully we can rectify that and get off to a good start.
Be a great start, wouldn't it, to go to Chelsea, John, and end up getting the 3 points?
It certainly would. Obviously, they got loads of players in the last season, and they're very unorganised. But with Pochettino coming in, it's going to be a tough ask. But yeah, we need a good start this season, especially with our away form last season. So
a few bad away days. Let's take a look at the opening day of the season, right across the Premier League, in fact, and obviously the Friday night fixture, Burnley against Man City. Vincent Kompany, of course, the obvious link between those two there. They played each other quite recently in a cup game. Didn't go overly well for Burnley, did it? And then, as we culminate the weekend with Brentford, Tottenham, Chelsea against Liverpool, of course, the 4:30, and Manchester United against Wolves. Any standout fixtures for you guys there for the opening day?
I think the Burnley Man City one. I think it's set up nicely for the television. Kompany, obviously, Burnley manager, the 2 champions of Man City and Burnley coming up as champions. So, yeah, but I think the standout one's definitely us against Chelsea, isn't it?
Yeah.
For everyone that catches the eye.
For you, John?
again, it's, what Dave says really. Yeah, I mean Newcastle Villa could be a good game, both going for the top 4 this season. I should imagine with Emery being there. But again, I think our game is the biggest one of the weekend. Yeah.
Mo Salah's birthday today as well. If you're watching Mo, I think they've just had an international game overnight. Looking at the new fixtures, happy birthday to you, Mo. And in terms of how it might look for an opening day, set of stats, we're never looking too far from this fella, are we? As to set another bracket of records, if you like.
Yeah, his record on the opening day it's frightening, to be honest. He's scored in every single opening day game in the Premier League he's played for Liverpool. You can see there he's matched some of the absolute all-time great goal scorers in terms of his number of goals, with 8 goals along with Shearer, Rooney and Lampard, but look how much fewer games he's done it in. Lampard with 18, even Shearer, the top goal scorer in Premier League history, took 11 games to get his 8 goals. Salah 8 and 6, and it's an incredible record. How
important is it for a striker to get off to a good start with a goal? Yeah, what kind of difference does it make to your season?
Confidence, momentum. Mo Salah, as we know, will be a player chasing the golden boot, and he's still got that hunger and desire to want to be scoring the goal. So every centre forward in the Premier League will be wanting to get a goal as early as possible, and we've seen the record there. I mean, Salah has more often than not got off to a really good start, and be a great start to go to his former club Chelsea and get a goal there as well. 30
goals last season. Everybody said he struggled.
Well, it's funny because everyone was talking about player of the season, Alisson, but Salah was magnificent again last season. This was his first goal, wasn't it? Goal snatching goal, but it's not going in. Bobby Firmino with the assist there. That was how it all started. I mean, there's a variety of goals here. A little tap in there for him in front of the cop. Yeah, so he's a player who will want to get off to a good start and find the back of the net. I mean, this against Norwich, really good finish again. A few penalties as well. This Seems strange, doesn't it, to see this behind closed doors with no fans there. He gets his haircut a little bit different as well.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit younger, doesn't he? But yeah, he knows where the back of the net is. He was on great form. We only got 19 Premier League last year, one short of the 20. But yeah, 30 in all competitions. I'm sure he'll be challenging for top scorer in the Premier League again this season and wanting to get off to a good start. Lovely finish this one, wasn't it? Away at Norwich, opening day.
Wonderful illustration, though, Neil, of all of the different variety of goals he scores. You look historically back over great goal scorers, you know, they might say 6-yard box player, scores the spectacular. He's got every different goal possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you need, you know, as a centre forward. And that one, not his greatest, but it's an important goal, isn't it, at the end of the day? So, however it comes about, hitting the back of the net, Salah will enjoy that feeling and hopefully he gets it day one against Chelsea.
Penalties as well. We might talk about that a little bit later on, but it's not just goals, is it? It's opening day contributions where assists are concerned as well.
Yeah, so even if we include the assists, as you mentioned, he's actually second for his goal involvement, so goals plus assists on the opening day behind Wayne Rooney. Again, ahead of some of the greats here, he likes of Sheringham, Lampard and Shearer, because he has a further 3 assists on the opening day. So yeah, fantastic record for Mo Salah.
Certainly is, and where records go as well, you strikers are very different, aren't you, in the sense that, like you said when we were talking in the green room before, it's golden boot, isn't it? It's all the records that Salah has amassed over the years, and he'll be looking at this thinking, another season, another opportunity to climb up that list. Yeah,
it's amazing. You know, obviously Rush is our all-time goal scorer, but I'm not sure he'll catch that. But last season was a big landmark season for Salah. He's gone ahead of Sir Kenny. He's gone ahead of Robbie Fowler. He's now level with Steven Gerrard, and he's going past some of our greatest ever players there. And that's why he's in that bracket. It's a time to enjoy watching one of our great players. All that list of great players there, if you were lucky enough to watch them, was a great time. Salah is now one of our great players. Let's enjoy watching him while we can.
I was going to ask you about favourite opponents as well, Mike, but he's probably got virtually every opponent up there, hasn't he?
Yeah, the list is pretty amazing, to be fair, in terms of if you actually look at all competitions, you would include teams like Man City, but in the Premier League only, Manchester United, which is a great favourite opponent to have if you're a Liverpool player, but 10 goals in 11 games. He just seems to keep scoring against them recently. He'll be gutted that Leeds got relegated because you can see his record against them there is really good. But also Arsenal and Tottenham in this top list. So again, 2 of the top sides. It doesn't matter who he plays against. Mo Salah is always hungry for goals.
And you look as well, Bournemouth and Tottenham feature in the opening set of 6 fixtures, don't they? Which will be in his mind as well. Got a good record against them.
Absolutely.
Potential to get a good start.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, you know, players do have certain favourite opponents that they like playing, so and he will know that he will remember, I remember scoring this goal against this team, and he'll want to get on the score sheet again. He got a hat-trick against Bournemouth one year, so yeah, he'll be looking to replicate that.
Lots of excitement in here about a brand new season. Just before we head to the break, by the way, as the new campaign starts, we've got a new feature for you over on LiverpoolFC.com. This season, you can get all of the Liverpool fixtures, and they go direct to your calendar, so you never miss a game. Just go to the fixtures page on the website, and when the games change, your calendar will automatically update as well. Head over to LiverpoolFC.com for all the details there. That is it for part 1, but stay with us, as when we come back, we'll take a closer look at the opening 6 games. And also don't forget our exclusive Bobby Firmino documentary is available now on LFC TV Go. If you subscribe, you'll get 1 month free. See the website for more details. Here's a little taster for you.
Give the ball, he score every time. You pass, no look pass. Ah, cuidado aí. Hey. Good. Ah. This is Valentina, the big ones, Bella, the second ones, Liz with mommy is the third, and the fourth is Sophia, 1 month and a half. She never go outside. Between yesterday and today was the first time. That's something that a couple want to know. Best news is Bobby Firmino. Sophia, linda do pai. Linda, meu Deus. I love so much all of them. 2 more if I still pray to God convince my wife.
ended off a magnificent night for Liverpool, a ruthless night as well. Liverpool are in such a greedy mood tonight.
Liverpool, 1st of September 1892. The beginning of the football season. Everyone's at the newly built Goodison Park, but one man is notably absent. Today, John Holding, Anfield landlord, brewer, businessman, and now ex-president of Everton FC, puts his reputation on the line. In a local house, in a makeshift changing room, his new team prepares. Assembled in weeks, they are Holding's greatest gamble. Liverpool Football Club, defiant in blue and white, takes to the pitch for the first time, with not even 100 people watching. Liverpool choose to attack the Anfield Road end. Holding ceremoniously kicks off, and he's barely left the pitch when Loudmouth Miller scores the club's first ever goal. No one expected that. But this is a team of Scotsmen chosen for their mastery of the ball. Captain Andy Hanna, former Everton skipper and master tactician, marshals his men. James McBride, tiny but nimble, is a Blair at right back. Funny man Malky McVean dances across centre field. Duncan, the Wall McLean, stops Rotherham Town dead. The team of Max thunders to a 7-1 victory. Holding's boldest venture is paying off beautifully. And the rest, well, it's history.
Welcome back to our live fixtures show. Let us know your thoughts on that opening day fixture. Liverpool will take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Let's hear from our COP season ticket holders now and what kind of start they're anticipating for their Liverpool team. Opening 6 fixtures. John, first of all, what's your overall impression of about what kind of start they've been handed there?
Yeah, I'd say the first 2 away games are pretty tough. Tough as can be, really. And then at the home games, obviously, we've got a good home record, so we expect to win those first 3 home ones. Villa should improve again this season, so that could be tough, but West Ham at home shouldn't be a problem. But the away games aren't really, they're really tough, yeah. So.
You're looking at all of them thinking, I fancy that, fancy going and standing in the gods at Newcastle,
isn't it? Yeah.
The back of the stand.
Yeah.
Any that jump out for you, Dave, that you...
Yeah,
excited about
can't
that.
wait to get back into it. As we said before, Chelsea a big one away first of all. Newcastle, we done well there last season. Got the 2 wins against them. If we can win those 2 away games, we're off to a cracking start, aren't we? And as I say, try and get the 18. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. We had a bad performance at Wolves last season, so hopefully rectify that. And yeah, as I say, I'm confident that we can get all 18 points, to be honest.
Yeah, what a start that would be. We could win at Newcastle, win at Chelsea on opening day, people talking about us again.
That's it, exactly,
in the right realms. Let's take a look at Jurgen Klopp's start, in fact, as we talk about it so often, that we certainly with fans, what kind of start that Jurgen Klopp has had. First of all, Michael, it's been an impressive one, hasn't it? The legacy of Jurgen Klopp and new seasons.
Yeah, you can see he has done it before, the 6 wins from 6 twice. title-winning season 2019-20, but also 2018-19. Of course, Liverpool went on to get 97 and 99 points those seasons. Last season was a bit of a letdown. It ended up being only 2 wins in 8, in fact, so the sort of post-start sort of carried on beyond the 6 games, and that's ultimately it cost Liverpool that place in the top 4 last season, but only 4 defeats in those 42 games, so generally the record is pretty amazing.
Just briefly with the lads, how does it change that atmosphere in an away end, on an away trip, if you are off to a great start? I know they're always great atmospheres, but I mean, how's the feeling differ?
Yeah, it's always a good day. You banter with the lads, especially first game, getting back with everyone and that. But yeah, if you can get off to a cracking start, as I say, the Arsenal one springs to mind for me. I think we went 4-1 up at one point, and you're absolutely bouncing, you're flying. Especially a big game like that, if it's Chelsea, you're going to be well up for it, aren't you? And, like, you feel invincible, so hopefully we can get back up to that again. Yeah, and get
everyone have learned that McAllister song by the time that season starts.
Hopefully,
That's the big one, isn't it?
That's the sign, get it going on the bus,
Yeah, hopefully a few new songs as well. And Michael, in terms of what it takes for an eventual winner of a Premier League title, how important is the first 6 games?
This table we're about to see shows you just how important that you've got to get off to a good start. If you look at the last 6 champions, I mean, Man City being 5 of them and Liverpool the sort of exception to them there, generally it's at least 4 wins out of 6 you need. There's only Man City in the 2020-21 behind closed door season where it was 3 wins instead of 4, but that season they went on a run of 15 consecutive wins at one stage, so they had to recover it later in the season. So yeah, that early start is so important if you want to go on and win the league.
Let's take a look at Manchester City's opening 6 games as well. The hangovers will well and truly have subsided by the time the Premier League season gets underway. I'm hastening to add, is there any potential upsets there? We probably think not, but no. How good or bad a start is that for City?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is after 6 games last season, we're 5 points behind and playing catch-up. And we want to be in a better position this season. You're looking at Burnley, away from home for them to start with, which is going to be a game you'd expect them to beat. Newcastle could be a difficult one. Sheffield, fancy them to beat them. Fulham, West Ham maybe could be an uncomfortable one, maybe a draw. So you're probably looking at them winning at least 4 of those games, maybe even 5. So that shows the importance of the start we need to make with looking how kind maybe their fixtures look.
Because everyone needs to get close to City to stand a chance, don't they? How do you rate Liverpool's chances to go toe-to-toe again?
Well, we know we can. And the big thing will be improving many things from last season. The away form is one of them. And you look at the start of those fixtures, you're looking at the fixtures at the bottom of the screen. We have to improve away from home. We need to put City under pressure. Arsenal kind of did last season. We're different to Arsenal. City know we can go all the way with them. So hopefully if we improve in that away form, those games will be massive. I mean, I absolutely loved the game last season at Anfield. When Salah scores the goal 1-0, everyone's going nuts. It was brilliant. And let's hope when we play City in March at Anfield, we're in a position where we're there or thereabouts around them, and it's a big victory if we can beat them.
I think I was sat next to you actually for that game. He's a nervous wreck. Never sit next to him at a game, by the way. 25th of November is the game at the Etihad Stadium, and the 9th of March. Always need to beat them at Anfield, get something at the Etihad, and who knows what the season might look like.
Yeah, and just to say, that's after international. Let's hope it's not a 12:30 kickoff.
Yeah. OK, so let's take a look at some of those games against Manchester City from last season then.
When these two sides come together, it always feels as though it's a titanic clash. Diogo Jota's run, this is James Milner. Oh, it's a really good hand by the goalkeeper, but here's Robertson. Couldn't keep it down. Now there's a lovely ball, and Salah has a run. Aki's trying to catch him, he doesn't. Mohamed Salah, oh, it's a whisker away for Liverpool. Fabinho's gone down and doesn't get a free kick, and that's De Bruyne, and Haaland's coming, and Foden's there and scores. Well, they're checking the foul actually. Here is Gundogan, and here's Haaland. That's a huge hand from a quite brilliant goalkeeper. There's the ball for Salah, who's got the spin, and Salah has the run, and Mohamed Salah scored, doesn't, into the back of the net for Liverpool. You just don't stop him when he's in that mood. That's Alexander-Arnold, and Diogo Jota is onside. He has the run on goal, he has Akanji coming, and Salah's arriving! Goal for Liverpool! For Gundogan, and here Here comes Grealish, and Alvarez scores. A ball by Alvarez from Mahrez, and De Bruyne through the middle, and he's completely unmarked and scores. And Alvarez is there, and with space and time, brilliant stop by Alexander-Arnold, but no one's going to stop Gundogan. Grealish for De Bruyne for Grealish. Oh, they've played their way through Liverpool with such simplicity there. For Liverpool, not able to stay with them in the second period.
Yeah, it won't be long before he's thinking about Liverpool again, but some good, some indifferent performances there, and as we proved with the stats, Man City the least favourite opponents for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
For balance, what about the opponents that we like coming up against most on the Jurgen Klopp?
Yeah, so if you've got the fixtures up on your phone, have a look out for these ones, because these are ones that under Klopp Liverpool have tended to do the best in for at least 6 games, the best points per game average. Wolves, there was the one defeat last season. It was a perfect record before that game at Molineux. Aston Villa, again, there was a draw at the back end of last season, but generally a really good record. Won at Villa Park, of course, then. Crystal Palace and West Ham, also interesting teams to be in there, the London clubs there. Watford no longer in the Premier League, of course, but Bournemouth as well, they feature. Again, there was a defeat to Bournemouth last season, so some blots on the copybook here, but those are generally opponents Liverpool have done well against under Klopp.
Let's take a look at some potential surprises from last season in the form of Newcastle and Arsenal as well. The fixtures that we will come up against them in, Neil, and festive period ones as well, Arsenal and Newcastle United.
Yeah, I think one thing you have to remember is that Arsenal played Europa League last season. They've got Champions League this season, so I'm not sure their squad would have coped with Champions League. I thought they could refresh it in the Europa League and then stay strong in the Premier League. Newcastle haven't been in Europe for a long time, so the question marks this season will be, yes, they had brilliant seasons last year, and we're looking at the fixtures when we play them, but how will they be able to cope with European football and that consistency in the Premier League this season? We play Newcastle in August. There's no worry about European football there. That will be a really, really tough game. I mean, the double over them last season, to many this was one of the highlights because it was a late winning goal, wasn't it? I mean, Newcastle started the game really well. Isak, who just signed for them, got a goal. He had a goal disallowed as well to make it 2-0. That was a big moment in the game, but we always felt as though we'd come back into the game. Lovely finish, absolutely beautiful finish from Bobby. And it was a real, what was it, 97? I mean, the time wasted, to be fair. So the time was certainly needed. Salah fighting in the 6-yard box to win the ball back, and Carvalho with a finish. It was a game everybody left Anfield absolutely buzzing with. This was a tough one. Did we get an apology? Did we get an apology after this one? Because a few big decisions went against us, VAR. No good now, because the result went against us. But yeah, that's a tough away game. Didn't deserve to lose that game. In fact, this was significant because that man in screen there, Diaz, got injured, didn't he? That was a big moment in the season. Diaz, who's so important for us, creating that goal there, he got injured in that game and missed a lot of the season.
Yeah, we obviously only taken a point off Arsenal. You do wonder, don't you, with away teams, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, Michael, whether there might be some kind of stats about teams that have wasted the most time against Liverpool that end up getting done by them by late goals. There
is absolutely. Newcastle were the biggest time wasters in the Premier League last season, so they complained about the added time in that Anfield game, but you know, they did it all season where they took longest over restarts, whether goal kicks in particular. You know, Nick Pope took a long time over his goal kicks, so it was the highest average in the league. And Liverpool have actually scored the most 90th minute winners of any team in Premier League history, so Liverpool are probably the best team in the Premier League at capitalising if you do waste time and take it late on into the games, and that game was one of the examples.
Yeah, because they've shown they just don't get frustrated. They stick true to the task, don't they? And like Michael said, so many late goals against teams that have came to spoil games at Anfield.
Yeah, I thought this game was a bit of a momentum turner for us. It was a point where we were struggling a little bit with form, with results, and I thought this really energised us to finish the season strongly. Arsenal got themselves into a commanding position, 2-0 up, and you're thinking, cool, we've got a long way back here. And if you were inside Anfield that day, it was absolutely rocking, wasn't it? That second half was brilliant. We ended up getting a couple of goals back. We should have won the game. But this, for me, was the Liverpool that we've seen over the last few seasons. Really at it, creating chances. We created so many chances against one of the best sides in the Premier League, which Arsenal were at this point. And yeah, I felt as though we deserved to win this game. We didn't in the end, but that game that game gave everyone a little bit more belief. What did we win? 7 games in a row after that? That was a really good one.
You won from an Arsenal perspective as well, that Granit Xhaka. Trent Alexander-Arnold moment that potentially could have cost them the title, who knows. We're going to take another break here. When we come back, we'll check on the derby dates, but this also gives me another chance to remind you about the exclusive Bobby Firmino documentary. Don't miss this. It's available on LFC TV Go. If you subscribe now, you'll get 1 month free. See the website for more details. Here's another clip from that film.
Pardon, but I'm nervous.
Action, say action.
1, 2, 3.
Action. Claro, vai ficar a saudade, né? Como sempre. Dias marcantes, memórias lindas que deixamos e construímos juntos. Vou sentir saudade do clube, dos torcedores, dos meus atletas, dos meus jogadores, né? Que eu falo dos meus companheiros e dessa cidade.
Nós construímos uma história aqui, nós temos uma vida aqui. Nós estamos 10 anos juntos e 8 anos da nossa vida foi vivido aqui. Nossa filha mais velha veio para cá com 8 meses e agora nós estamos saindo daqui com 4 filhas.
É claro, foi uma linda história construída.
Comes to Lallana! Oh no, I don't believe it. Klopp's off, the players are off. The most ridiculous game of football that you will ever see. It's Mane chasing, lovely take, Neuer's come. And Mane's turned in, and Sadio Mane for Liverpool with a brilliant away goal. Shaqiri, Wijnaldum! Oh my goodness gracious me! One end to the other. Unbelievable first half. Oh, Pickford's lost it. Divock Origi. Unbelievable. Jurgen Klopp can't believe it. Divock Origi. He's won the European Cup for Liverpool. Number 6 is on its way to Anfield. It doesn't get any better than this. Liverpool, the champions of Europe. Here's Salah. He's got a run on goal. He's still going. And Salah for Liverpool! Have a little bit of that! Liverpool Football Club are champions of England once again. There's the cross. Lovren! The roof has come off Anfield! It's Oxlade-Chamberlain! Stunning moment, stunning hit. What a night, what a hero, what an arrival in a red shirt. And here's Firmino again. And still going on Firmino! Oh, that's absolutely wonderful! It's Alexander-Arnold! Absolutely emphatic. Fabinho with the strike! Oh my word! It's Alexander-Arnold. Oh, it's Alisson! Unbelievable! It's absolutely astonishing! You will never see such drama again!
And welcome back to the Fixtures show. If you're just joining us, though, Liverpool will face Chelsea next season. First up, of course, away from home, and you can continue to join our conversation on social media as well. 2 games we're all really interested in every season are the derby games. We will have derby games this season. 21st of October at Anfield, and then the return at Goodison will be on the 16th of March. You wanted them to stay up, Neil?
I did, yeah. I'm sure there are other Liverpool fans who feel the same. I feel as though for the city, I think it's good to have 2 Premier League clubs. We know Everton have struggled for a number of seasons. It looked like they were down at certain points last season, but for miraculously they've stayed up. Sean Dyche has gone in there. He's got a few big results. They've stayed up on the last day of the season, and these are always good games, great games, different games to play in and experience. The atmosphere is different inside the stadium as well. I'm glad it's at Anfield to start with. Last season it was away from home, wasn't it? Early on in the season, 0-0. Could have gone either way. Pickford has the game of his life. You know, probably should have won the game. But then at Anfield, we deservedly won the game 2-0. So there'll be Everton, a team struggling. Everton v Liverpool is a different sort of game. So it will be a difficult game.
I think there's probably a realisation they need to get better quickly as well, isn't there? They've had a couple of great escapes historically over the years, but the last couple of years they need to start doing some big changes there.
Yeah, I mean, as we stood here, we're still expecting them to be bottom half of the table. I think they'll probably have enough to stay up again, but there hasn't been enough change yet to suggest that they'll be much better than they were last season.
The Goodison game ended goalless last season, you might remember, but the Reds took the points at Anfield.
The tides may have turned since these two iconic football institutions rule the world, but it doesn't dilute the nervousness. It's more than a game. Big man forward into that near post as the target, and an early snapshot there from Gordon. Gomez with a direct one looking for Nunes, might have to go on his own, and what an effort it was as well. Still an opportunity for Diaz, the other post. Robertson's corner though. That's a really good delivery. Straight at Pickford though. And a big chance now for Mopé. Great save from Alisson Becker. Battling away. On his left foot this time. Brings it down really well and it's in. Of all people, look who's put it into the back of Liverpool's net. And the goal is ruled out. Luis Diaz. Salah against the post again. Salah with the follow-up. It's not meant to be. By Cetic. And a cross goal towards Gakpo. Now Nunez. And Liverpool's counter-attack as red shirts putting forward. And it's Salah goal! It will be. It's so tight, isn't it, there? Can't even draw breath. That's brilliant from Robertson though, who's just opened the game up here a little for Liverpool. Salah, Alexander-Arnold, beautiful ball across goal! Cody Gakpo has scored his first goal for Liverpool. Salah, glorious. Can he wrap it up for Liverpool? A very, very good save by Pickford. Well, it's all smiles again around Anfield. Liverpool back to it in ways they needed a victory tonight.
Yeah, what are we in store for where that is concerned next season? John and Dave are our Cop season ticket holders in the studio as well. Let's come to you first, John. Still the most looked for fixture on a day like today, Everton, or not?
For me personally, yeah, definitely against your local rivals. It's normally easy 6 points a season. Last season away was a bit of a struggle really, for a poor game. The only good thing about that game was the last minute goal getting disallowed by Cody for VAR, so but apart from that it was a terrible game, yeah. Home game was obviously an easy 2-0 win, so yeah, but I'm more in the camp of getting down and relegated really. I don't see the goal, like, yeah. So,
it was a sad ending for you. What about you, Dave? Everton?
Yeah, definitely Everton, yeah. I was hoping it was going to be Man United this season. I agree with John. I'm a bit gutted they stayed up again. Managed to survive. See how they got on this season, you never know. Might be third time lucky for us, eh? But yeah, no, they're the standout fixtures that you look for the most. Definitely the derby and then Man United, yeah.
On that point, let's look at Man United, shall we? 16th of December at Anfield. The 6th of April is when Liverpool will go to Old Trafford. Just briefly on that one, Neil, for you.
Yeah.
Any preference on whether you face them at home or away first?
No, just beat them. It was last season's game against United was my most enjoyable game ever watching Liverpool in the Premier League. Absolutely loved it. I was hugging Aldo for every goal. It was absolutely magnificent. So yeah, this is the game I want us to win the most this season, and that's just my personal preference. We don't like them, they don't like us, and I'd love to do the double over them again.
Just because I love you, here's a recap of those games from last season.
From Alanga. Eriksson return to Alanga. Big chance this for Sancho. Sits Milner down. And Manchester United have first blood. Robertson's corner then. Almost got on the line. How did it stay out? Rashford for now is onside against Alisson Becker and puts it away. And does that put the game beyond Liverpool? In by Elliott, big chance this for Carvalho, it's another good save, Salah, and in! It's a lovely early ball, and Gakpo, and still Cody Gakpo, goal! It's absolutely brilliant! Fabinho, and this is going to come for Salah. Sure, only half away, goal! The delight for Darwin Núñez! And off for Salah. Lisandro Martinez is the defender. Salah's turning one way, then the other. Gakpo! Oh, incredible goal! It's going to come to Salah! Oh, what a way to go level with Robbie Fowler! Comes to Henderson. And Núñez! It's towards Firmino. And the Salah! 6 for Liverpool! Salah, surely not another hat-trick. Oh, Firmino! It is another! It's 7 for Liverpool! A day of history for Liverpool, a day of history for Mohamed Salah, and quite simply, days just don't get any better than this.
Well said, John. I don't think we've had too many better memories at Anfield against Manchester United over lots of different generations. I think probably what it does say when we look at the first set of clips there at Old Trafford is the away form does need to be a lot better this year.
100%, yeah. And in fact, Man United, just on them, they've got a home game for the 7th season in a row on match day 1, which is the first time that's happened since Arsenal in the last decade. But yeah, this was the away Premier League table last season, and yeah, clearly improvement needed here. Well behind, you look at Manchester United 4 points and Newcastle 9 points behind them. That's the difference between 5th and top 4 ultimately. So yeah, that away form does have to improve.
Yeah, had it been a tiny little bit better, the end of the season would have been completely different. Again, in the subject of balance, had it been on the home form, it would have been comfortably good enough for Liverpool to qualify in the Champions League.
Yeah, we were strong again, weren't we, at home? Just that one defeat, which was unusual. Against Leeds United, a late goal. I mean, you look at the home form and saying that maybe we dropped a few points with draws as well. Think of Palace, think of Villa, Brighton. You know, ones where you're thinking maybe next season we can get even more points. But yeah, at home, I always feel with the fans, we will be strong again next season. So that will be important. If we improve that away form, then all of a sudden we start getting where we want to be.
You look at those first few home games as well, Bournemouth, Villa, West Ham, you'd be expecting maximum points from those, wouldn't you, for a good home start?
How mad was the Bournemouth game last year? I mean, we talk about some of our great games last year. We beat them 9-0.
Yeah.
No one really talks about it, but it was one of those big victories. Villa, we dropped points against them. I think they're a decent side. I think they'll go on again. I think Villa will be pushing for top 6 this season. I think that will be tough. And West Ham, you're thinking, yeah, it'll be a tough, hard-fought game. But if we find a way to win that one, which I'm sure we can at home.
Let's get over to our fans again then, and despite the struggles this year, one thing we're nearly always guaranteed, Dave, is brilliant football, winning football at Anfield in front of fans, certainly. I mean, that record, 1 defeat at home in front of a crowd since 2017, staggering.
Yeah, our home record is outstanding, as you say, especially when we've had the crowds. Weren't so good the COVID year. I think it shows the effect of having a full Anfield, and yeah, it's a menacing place for anyone to come. So yeah, expect us to have a very strong home record again this season. Hopefully go unbeaten, and yeah, if we improve on the aways, be right up there definitely. I'm
going to say, what was your favourite performance at Anfield last season? But you're not allowed Man United. What would have been underneath that one, John?
Yeah, for me, possibly the Spurs game. You know, we were 3 up, cruising after 15 minutes, I think it was, game over, and then obviously they came back into it, and we couldn't get going again. And so obviously 3-all, I think we were going for top 4, then a little slight chance as well for top 4. So it was disappointing. And then luckily, obviously, Jota scored straight after their 3rd goal, and it was fantastic again, yeah. So probably that for me, the second best game.
Yeah, seeing Luis Diaz back out there as well, and the emotion that came with that return. Mo Salah penalty, we've been talking about this in the green room actually, as to Liverpool's potential penalty takers next season now, with McAllister added to the roster as well. And what kind of season might Spurs have? Will Harry Kane still be there? Spurs 30th of September is the away game, and then Saturday the 4th of May at Anfield, and Chelsea, as you already know, are the opening day fixture on 15th of August away at Stamford Bridge. They travel to Anfield on the 31st of January. They are the Tottenham and Chelsea fixtures. Briefly on that, Neil, what are you expecting from those two teams next season, Tottenham and Chelsea?
I think Chelsea have to be improved. Bottom half of the Premier League with how much money they spent, they can't be as bad as that. I don't see Spurs as a top 4 side. You know, I know they've got a new manager, Harry Kane. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go?
What do you think he'll do? Do you think he'll stay or go?
It depends who comes in for him. You know, you look at the Real Madrid situation, thinking who's going to be their main striker. If it's Harry Kane, I'd be surprised if he turned that one down. I don't want to see him go to another Premier League club because I think he strengthens them. He's a top centre forward, always seems to get a lot of goals, but I don't see Spurs as a main challenger this season. I see Chelsea as being much stronger this year, though, under Pochettino.
Fascinating situation to see unfold. Time for another break here. When we come back, we're going to chat about the remarkable rise of Luton Town and we'll analyse the run-in as well. We're back soon. And welcome back to the Fixtures show. Liverpool will face Chelsea on the opening weekend of the season away from home. You've been watching us on social media as well. Please keep your comments coming in. Use the hashtag provided there. And let's take a look at the promoted sides. We are very familiar with both Burnley and Sheffield United, of course, but Luton Town are brand new to the Premier League and there's lots of work ongoing there to try and get the ground ready.
Yeah.
It's been some story though, hasn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. 5 years ago they were playing League Two, you know, and the big... I think that one of the big stories about Luton is they've not spent loads of dough on it. You think about a lot of teams outside the Premier League who've spent a lot of money, teams who've been in the Premier League. Luton have done it in a way where it's been a real team effort. I mean, Nathan Jones, who was at Southampton last season, has had a huge impact at Luton. A couple of promotions. They've now got Rob Edwards in charge. And you can see the ground there. They've had a lot of stick about the ground because it's obviously old school. It's not great. It's not a great ground, but they're doing completely redeveloping the side of that ground. See where the corporate is for Luton, if you want to call it. That's going to be redone, and it'll look slightly better. But yeah, Luton have earned the right to be there, and that's a great football story. Do you know what it does? It gives hope for every sort of smaller team in the Football League. It could be us. We could go on that journey and be in the Premier League. So that will be important. If Luton want to stay in the Premier League, which I think they've got a job on their hands to do, it'll be about that home form last year. Forest did it really well, much bigger football club. If Luton want to stay up, it's about how they perform at home.
I know you never played there, but what are the facilities like outside the ground? The lads want to know what the pubs are like, decent chippies, anything like that you can recommend? You never went there with Sky, or?
Yeah, I did do, yeah, and I couldn't wait to go.
Couldn't wait to get out of there. Hopefully it looks a lot different when we play there next season. What's Liverpool's record against Luton Town like? Because it's going to be an historical, isn't it?
Yeah, very historical, so we've had to go quite far back. But this is the all competitions, the record, and we can split it up between Anfield and Kenilworth Road, of course. Liverpool have never lost to Luton at Anfield. Obviously, we hope that would continue this season. But then, look, 7 defeats in 20 at Kenilworth Road. But 8 wins, so more wins than defeats, so the record overall is positive. As you'd expect, Liverpool obviously historically been in the top flight a lot longer than Luton have, so we'd expect it to be more favourable there.
You can see Xabi Alonso, we might show you that in a second if we've got time. Last 6 against Luton.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how many of these was on the plastic pitch. People of a certain generation will remember Liverpool ruling the world but just couldn't win there.
Let's see how many people remember of these games. I mean, most recently was 2008, a Steven Gerrard hat-trick, an FA Cup replay. That after you can see that the first game was drawn at Kenilworth Road. There's the Xabi Alonso game, that 2006 match, that 5-3, incredible game, really. Last league meeting, you can see 1992, so it's been an awful long time. And you can see the last time Liverpool lost to Luton was under Ronnie Moran in temporary charge, so in 1991. So, yeah, some quite historical meetings, those are the last 6.
We won't roll back the years too far to the plastic pictures, but let's roll it back to 2006. Neil Mellor recovering from injury at the time, I think.
Yeah.
What are your memories of this? Were you at the ground that day? Or?
No, didn't make the trip. But yeah, I was in and around the squad at that time. I was injured, getting treatment. Obviously, we all talk about the Alonso goal. And one thing, there was a real buzz at Melwood when the boys came back after this game. We expect to beat Luton, of course we do. We won the cup that year. But when Xabi scores this goal, I remember the lads all saying, "Why has he not passed it to Stevie? Stevie's in on goal, clean through." And he was saying, "Why don't you pass it to me?" But you don't see that too often, do you? A goal from the halfway line in front of the away fans. What a player he was, Alonso. But yeah, I remember the buzz around Melwood after this goal going in because it was so unique. Stevie's still shouting, "Pass me the ball."
Kromkamp's even saying to him, "Why don't you pass Stevie the ball?"
Yeah, I think he's passing to Stevie rather than Kromkamp, isn't he? But it's a moment we remember. I mean, we had so many with Alonso, didn't we? But that was certainly one of them.
Give us it. Oh, what a goal. What a goal. 5-0 as well was also a result that Liverpool got against Luton Town. We had Don Hutchison on recently, who was a veteran player then at Luton Town, who talks about the day his manager said, "Will you play centre-half against Fernando Torres? You've got what it takes, experience in the game," and he scored a hat-trick that day. I don't think he was ever asked to do that job again. Let's take a look at the fixtures against those newly promoted sides then. Burnley, a trip to Turf Moor, Boxing Day. They come to Anfield on the 10th of February. Sheffield United, we go to Bramall Lane on the 5th of December, and then the Blades come to Anfield on the 3rd of April. Luton away comes on the 4th of November. I think the lads are looking out for that one as potentially a new ground to go to. The return leg, Luton come to Anfield on the 24th of February. Let's take a look at the manager's record then against newly promoted sides, because it can be a bit of a mixed bag. You don't really know what you're going to come up against.
Yeah. I mean, certainly last season in particular, it was really tricky, and you can see if we break down the record by season against these promoted sides, I mean, generally it's very good. We looked earlier, but the title-winning season won every game. The season before that won every game. Season before that, 5 wins out of 6. But last season, if you look at only 3 wins in 6, and all those were at Anfield. Didn't win away at Fulham, Forest or Bournemouth last season. So that's an area where Liverpool are going to have to improve if they're going to have a better season than last season, that's for sure.
Talking of improvements, January and February, because there's already concern about the African Cup of Nations. January and February tends to be, in my mind anyway, months we've struggled. Is that backed up in the stats?
It absolutely is. If we look at Liverpool breakdown by month in terms of points per game, look at how far down January and February are, the bottom 2. The reasons for it, we're not really sure. That post-Christmas, New Year hangover, maybe they have too much Christmas dinner, I don't know. But January, February, you can see 1.66 points per game, very low sort of ratios there. So, yeah, you can see the January struggles in that time.
So 5 of the 8 seasons, January and February have been the worst.
Yeah, that's right. So if we actually compare the January and February points per game record to the overall season, January and February have been worse as an average in 5 out of the 8 seasons, as Pete's just said. And in the 3 that they weren't, it was very marginal. So last season that carried on again. So that's something that's got to be replicated, particularly with, as Neil mentioned, Salah going to the African Cup of Nations in January, February. So it'll be tricky to correct that, really.
And that tally with your experience as well, lads, that you always feel that turn of the year after the Lord Mayor show, almost after Christmas, that Liverpool struggle?
Well, yeah, it's evidence there. The reasoning behind it, yeah, unknown really. I don't know if it's the fixtures or what. Looking at what we've got this year, hopefully we'll improve on that. But as you say, if we're without Salah, that'll be a huge blow. So, yeah, hopefully we can improve on it.
Is that a concern for you, John, as well?
Mo away for the...
Yeah.
Well, of course, yeah, he's top scorer every year, you know what I mean? So you've got to miss him, aren't you? Just hopefully we can maybe get a couple of signs in this season. And maybe, you know, won't miss him so much. But, yeah. And also depends how well Egypt do. They might get knocked out in the, you know, the qualifying stages, which would be good for us, so... Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Sorry, let's take a look at the run-in, Neil. Last 6 games of the season, hopefully already we're dreaming about a European trophy in Dublin. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice, yeah.
How's this look for a run-in for you?
I think it looks okay. Yeah, I do. We want to be in a position where we can finish the season strongly, and we can potentially put City under pressure for that title. Palace at home, fancy our chances, of course. Fulham away was a tough one away. West Ham away, yeah, it was difficult, but we won that one. Spurs at home's been a good game in recent seasons. I do think Villa will continue to kick on the way they did last season and be a real threat this year.
How are you feeling about potentially parading the trophy at Anfield against Wolves on the last day?
Hopefully it's better this time than last time we played them. That was an almost story, wasn't it? But yeah, we're at home last game of the season. Anfield will be rocking. Let's hope we've got something big to play for on that last day.
Let's hope for potentially new incomings as well, the first of whom through the door's been an impressive one, Alexis McAllister.
Yeah.
How good is he?
Oh, well, the stats that we're about to show would back up that he is an excellent signing. I think we've all seen, particularly in the games against Brighton last season, he was pretty good in those games for Liverpool, against Liverpool. But you can see here, these were his stats last season, and then where he ranked for Brighton. So he was a top scorer, albeit quite a few penalties, top for expected goals and top for shots. So he has a lot of shots, which is something a lot of Liverpool midfielders we don't necessarily associate. Maybe it's something, maybe Curtis Jones would be one for that. But at the minute, possession won in the final third, he's also top 4 and second for tackles. So he's quite a jack of all trades midfielder, and he can play a couple of different roles. He can play as a deeper midfielder or more offensive, and you can see that backed up in the stats. So I think that's a really positive, adaptable signing that Klopp's made there.
Aside from the stats, how good is he?
Yeah, I think he's had a great time at Brighton. We saw him for Argentina. I like the fact he's coming early, so you can understand what the football club's about in pre-season. Jurgen's done that with big signings, and hopefully, I think he's an intelligent player, and I think he'll bounce off some of the top players that we have around him. I think he can go to that next level, so I'm excited to see how he'll do.
Hope you're right. Thank you, gents. Nice to see you again. That is just done for this morning. Thanks for joining us at home. Thanks for all your comments as well. We have just over 7 weeks until the Premier League kicks off again. Before that, there are pre-season games, of course, live here on LFC TV. Make sure you don't miss those. Big thanks at home. Bye for now.
It was in 1951 that Bill Shankly